Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Avoiding Broke podcast with me, Jermaine.
I'm Leanne.
And guys, we are super happy to be with you on this beautiful Sunday. So, what are we going to talk about today?
So today we're going to talk about income. And I think the key of this podcast is going to be improving your income in 2020. Because I think we've spoken a lot about expenses and emergency funds and things like that. But I think there are a few things that I think people can do to try and improve your income. Because I think that's the hardest thing actually to do is to, and when you look at your budget, you've got your expenses and your income. I think it's actually a lot harder to increase your income line in that. But I think there are still a few creative things that we can do there.
Yeah, I'm with you. And, you know, we speak about income in the Avoiding Broke book that we've got. And we do say exactly what you've just mentioned, right? Which is that if you look at all of the different variables that make up your household budget, income is the one that we are often most fixated on, but it's actually definitely the hardest to improve. And I think this environment makes it even harder.
Oh, completely. It really does.
Right.
Much harder.
So we've seen quite a lot, obviously. Clearly a lot of people are kind of under a lot of job pressure. We've seen more redundancies, companies falling. And I think there's just generally less opportunities in the marketplace. So, guys, let's be really clear. We understand that if we talk to you about improving income, the outlook may not be as positive as it would have been 6 months ago. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind about that. But we just want to be really focused as much as we can on things that might be possible just to kind of give yourself an improvement, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. And I think we'll cover a few things in this podcast, and I think you just think about what works for you and what fits with your life and things like that.
Just go for it then, right? Let's jump in.
Let's jump in. Okay. So what was one of the things that you would suggest?
Okay, I didn't realise I'm jumping in. Fair enough. No issue. So look, I think there are going to be some really obvious and quite easy income opportunities, right? Particularly when you look at things like personal tax.
Okay.
So if I look at the macro picture and think what has happened to most of us in this world through this whole COVID period, and like definitely within the UK, a lot more people are working from home. The whole nature, the whole dynamic of being an employee has changed. So you're doing a lot more remotely. So your home is now your office space. So when you look at personal tax, we know that the majority of people may not be used to submitting their own tax returns, for example.
Yes.
Right? Normally you do it if you've got income above a certain level, or if you've got something like investment property, or if you sold a property. But actually, for most people, their homes are their offices. So that means being able to claim credits for electricity, broadband, maybe your phone. You may have, depending on which jurisdiction you're in, you may have your own tax regime that, again, gives you different credits for working from home. That, for me, straight away is an income booster.
It's so true. Here in the UK, I think you can claim back a set amount each week. You don't have to claim back for different things individually. I think they let you just claim a set amount where you don't need to keep receipts or anything.
Yeah, so there are different ways of doing it, right? So you can claim this set amount where you don't need any evidence, but if you want to claim more, then you can actually submit a substantially bigger claim. Yes. It's just that you would have to provide the evidence to HMRC. So, the key, I think, is just to find out what the rules are in your own country.
Yes.
But definitely look as the ability to legally claim an amount of tax back as an income booster. Definitely.
Most definitely. I think that's a really good one because lots of people are going to be entitled to it. I think another thing that you can do is just turn some of the things that you have at home that you don't use anymore into income. So you can sell things on eBay, and I'm sure there are plenty of other things, Facebook Marketplace and all of these different things. But if you've got stuff in your house that you're not using, then why not get some money for it?
Yeah, and I think that's a really interesting one. So, I'm a big advocate of the reselling. Definitely. I think it's always worth saying that there are pros and cons with it because it can be quite time consumptive. It can be a bit of a faff depending on how you look at it. And I mean, look, it may not necessarily work for everybody, particularly if you don't think you can make the time.
Yeah.
Right. And I just think there's always a balancing act that's worth doing. The way we thought of it, and I think one of the reasons why I'm a big fan of it, is we happen to have a fair amount of stuff we could actually put together. And so what happened was when you put all of that stuff together, the amount that we obtained back it ended up being substantial enough to make it feel like it was worth it. So I think we're probably north of £1,000 now in all of these different like reselling things, and so that's an amount that's worth it. You can actually do something with it.
Yeah, it's very true.
You know what I mean? And there are enough high value items in there to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, so I think if you're, say, like we had Theo and he grew out of a lot of his baby stuff, so we sold that.
Yeah.
But if you're moving house or doing anything like that, or just having a big clear out, there may be stuff there that you can then sell and get some money back on. So yeah, like Jermaine said, have a think and see if that works for you.
Definitely. And I think, guys, always make sure you're just thinking of the cost benefit. Because one thing that's really been occurring to me more recently is this whole period of readjustment has just been mentally very, very tiring. And so it almost feels like you need more energy and more motivation just to do some of the things that I may have found a little simpler before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so true. I think it was good for us that we spent time reselling, say, 100 items quite early on because I had the energy for it. The thought of doing that now, honestly, it doesn't quite appeal as much.
It's true.
Right?
And we were doing it pre-lockdown. I was still on maternity leave with Theo. And so...
Yeah, we did a fair bit in lockdown as well, right? So we have kind of kept the activity, but my point is more, we had the energy earlier on.
Yes.
I think for me, if I look now and speak quite honestly, getting nearer the end of the year and when it gets colder and darker, I just tend to just hibernate a little bit more, or the more you've had to readjust, you tend to get a little bit more tired. And I think there could be a lot of people who are in a similar position. So it's just making sure you appreciate it, like pick the time that really works for you, because your mental health and well-being is a huge driver in everything else you do.
Oh, most definitely. It's
you know
the
what
most
I mean?
important thing.
Absolutely.
Most important.
So I think that's why it's important just to strike that balance. And it may be the case that you even are accumulating items that you want to resell now and waiting for what may be a better time in your life to do it,
Yeah, that's a good plan.
Completely valid. But I think those are kind of ways of just managing yourself through whatever it is you need to try and do.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So then another thing that I was thinking that you could do to improve your income is if you have something that you enjoy doing, a hobby or something like that, then you can actually sell the things that you make or write or things like that on. I think there are plenty of services like Fiverr and Etsy and these kind of platforms that allow you to actually advertise what you do and have people buy them.
That's true, actually. So I think that's a really interesting business model that's popped up, and it's one that almost lets you just transform your hobby into a revenue generator. It doesn't necessarily have to be too time consumptive either, I don't think. I've got a friend who quickly set up a business selling crystals. We've got a joint friend who sells picture frames. I think they do a lot of that via Etsy. Fiverr is more, from what I understand, is more about selling your services.
Yes.
So say, for example, you've got a large social media following, you can sell like advertising. If you've got some skills with like graphic design, you can sell. And it's what's great is it's very transparent.
Yes, it is.
You can figure out what your skill set is. You can go on, find people with a similar skill set, have a look at how much they are selling their services for, and you can basically go and mimic what they do.
And I think the nice thing about something like Fiverr is that you advertise what you can do, and people will then come to you and say, I would like a website designed or something like that. And you pick and choose whether you want to take that on so you can fit it in with your life.
Completely.
So if somebody says to you, I'd like this done by this date, and you think, no, actually, I need to focus on something else right now, then you don't do it. But then if it works for you and you have the time and you want that extra income, then you do it.
100%. One theme, actually, that is kind of coming out, right, is all about the way in which we're using, you use the word platforms, all about the way we are using these platforms, using the internet in order to generate revenue, generate income. And guys, this is, I think, is a super key point, right? Because the internet has been probably the most important thing for all of us during this whole lockdown period. I think Theo's over there agreeing, right? So it's been one of the most important things for us during this whole lockdown period.
Yes.
But it's not just about entertainment, and it's not just about making sure we've got broadband for work. The whole nature of the workplace is changing literally right in front of us. And very quickly, we are showing how all skills are being taken into these online marketplaces. So be it arts and crafts on Etsy, or be it reselling on eBay, or be it skills on Fiverr. And I think this is the really important thing for anyone who's sitting there wondering about how to generate income. this is one of the most important things to kind of really grasp, is that potential to make money using online platforms.
Yeah. Oh, most
It's
definitely.
huge.
Yeah, it is. It's really big. And I think one of the key benefits of it is that you pick and choose when you work. There's no contract. You're not there saying you have to do a minimum number of hours or something like that. You can really make it fit in with your own lifestyle. What's important to you, if you have a family or you actually just need some time for yourself, you can make it fit in.
100%. And I think they're the different parts of the spectrum get catered for. Because to your point, if you've got a family, you may find yourself with less time. But at the same time, if you've been struggling for work for a while, and this is the kind of scary reality that I look at, right, is that I know for some of our 16 to 24-year-old listeners and viewers, I know some of you are going to have left education and you actually have no employment whatsoever. And you're going up against tens or hundreds or maybe even thousands of different applicants for single roles.
Yes.
And when you're in that position, the potential to actually get some kind of income generating opportunity, it looks bleak. And I think that's where this also helps you if you're at the other side of the spectrum, because if you are struggling and you've got no idea how you could potentially get yourself up and running, these are the kind of platforms that are going to make a big difference. And I'm sure they've got similar things. Say, for example, if you're a tradesperson,
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll have similar platforms, not just say Checker Trade, which everybody's heard of, but actually more local services which help people who simply don't have the big established businesses.
That's so true. You've just made me think actually of if you're there and you are looking for employment but you can't find a job. There are things out there like, say, Deliveroo and Uber Eats that you can do. Even if you don't have a driving license, you can still do those things because you can use a bicycle
100%.
and do it. So you can look at, there are lots of different options and think creatively about it. And those things are, you sign yourself up on the platform and then you again pick and choose your hours. But if you are looking for employment, it's one thing that you can consider and look into.
Yeah, and I think broaden it, right? Because it's not, you could be employed already and you could simply be looking for what I call a hedge or insurance. So if you are already employed but your confidence in keeping your job is low, or if you're really not sure how your industry, your sector's performing, like you could work on a high street, you could work for an airline. These are areas where we've already seen there's been a lot of dislocation and you're not sure if your job's going to be safe. Get another job. I genuinely know plenty of people who have got multiple jobs, certainly 2 jobs at least, one of which is delivery driving. Because you can work your normal hours and then just for a few hours a day, whenever you choose, as you say, you turn your app on, you get out and go. And it starts giving you a hedge, because when you start earning that extra money, you're not squandering it on things you don't need. You're tucking it away into an insurance pot, an emergency fund.
It's so true.
It's a smart way of accelerating your emergency fund. I'm massively in favour of it. And I was completely clear, and I remain completely clear, that if at any point I start to get any big concerns about my own potential, I will go and do that. I will do delivery driving straight away.
Most definitely. And I think you've actually hit a really good point there, which is about like the insurance. If you have more than one income stream, if one of them gets cut off, at least you have something else coming in.
Absolutely. Guys, this environment that we're in, this is an environment where insurance matters.
Yeah.
And we don't always see it. And when we think of income, we often think of just what we bring in. But income, honestly, the more income you make is the more insurance matters. And the less income you make is the more insurance matters.
Yes.
You've got to be thinking like this. They go hand in hand. So when you're looking to increase your income, you're always thinking to yourself, if my income goes up, it's not more money you immediately go and spend on random stuff. No. You've got to be putting a portion of it to one side as your insurance. If you've got a lot of income already, then you should have a better appreciation for the importance of having insurance, because you've got to make sure you can absorb the blows, the unexpected knocks that may come, or even the expected knocks that may come. And that's why they go hand in hand.
Most definitely. And I think, again, another one of the important things that we've covered here is that I think the things that we've been speaking about in terms of looking at your tax and the Etsy and Fiverr and the kind of delivery driving type ways of increasing your income, you don't need anything to really start apart from just your commitment, your determination, and your kind of willingness to do it, there's not a big upfront capital cost or anything like that with some other kind of investments to get income.
Yeah.
You give your time, which again is precious, but it's something that you control and that you can do.
100%. You know, I mean, guys, during the lockdown, right, we wrote the Avoiding Broke book, which is marketing on Amazon, but that's generated income.
Yeah.
You know, it's generated income. Now, the reality is that we're not using that income for ourselves. That income is to be donated, and that's very different, and that's our personal interest to try and help people work through this period of time. So that's great. But the reality is that if we did need something to help supplement our domestic income, well, we wrote a book, and I'm sure a lot of people can do that. You know, there are a lot of people with incredible hobbies that they know enough about where they can, without any upfront cost, because you can just write the book on any word processing app and publish it on Kindle. Doesn't take any money. It doesn't cost you anything.
It doesn't cost you anything.
Other than your time, to your point, Leanne, right? You can do that, and genuinely it is possible. We did it. Not lying, we did it. The reselling, we did it. And I'll continue to do it as long as it becomes, as long as it remains an option. Right now it isn't, because we've got rid of everything, thankfully.
We have sold everything, which is good.
Which is good. But we will continue to do it, and like I've said, the driving we'll do if we need to.
And we know people who do things like they love to bake, so they put pictures of their baking on Instagram, and you can have people that then buy your.
That's baking. A fantastic one. Look, we know several people who would bake and sell cakes from their home. Like several, actually, it's quite incredible. Remember, I've put on so much weight over lockdown, right? Because I've got all these people baking cakes. But that is a fantastic example of a skill, guys, that you've got sitting in your home right now, where the actual time from demonstrating what you can do to actually selling your services, the time it takes is virtually nothing.
Yeah.
You can bake now, you can set up an Instagram page right now, you can market now. You can put everything on your Facebook page. Yes. You can share the links with every single person on your friends list, and you can immediately start income generating activities.
Most definitely.
No doubt.
Yeah. And it's especially nice if it's doing something you actually love to do and you'd want to do anyway.
100%. If you can make income from one of your hobbies, it's the dream.
And it doesn't have to be baking. Everyone's got lots of different hobbies. Whatever your hobby is, have a think about it and see if it's something that you think that you can sell, because I'm sure you can.
One thing that I'm really interested in, and I'll probably actually buy this service for myself actually, is anyone who can offer very good quality online language tutoring or musical lessons.
Yeah.
Right? Because like years ago I used to play the guitar and dabbled with the piano. I would love it if somebody could, over like a Zoom call, genuinely offer, like at a reasonable price, online music lessons. Now, I'm sure it's there, but I'm just giving you an example where if you have genuinely got this skill, the time taken to actually start making income off it, I mean, you could do it in a day. You could be set up in one day. Isn't it crazy?
That's so true. And if we ever needed to be convinced that you can actually do things online via Zoom calls, is the number of businesses that thought they would never be able to function, not in an office, that are functioning.
Come on, dude. Yeah. At one point, I had a job where genuinely I was told it is impossible to do this via remotely.
Yes.
Well, not anymore. So so I know the role is being done remotely, right? And that's kind of the point. Guys, this for me is the essence of what we try and do on Avoiding Broke, right? And you know what this is all about. I think to Leanne's earlier point, right, there are some really creative things that we can be doing right now, in order to generate income, from the really obvious stuff around our house to maybe the not so obvious stuff around our hobbies. When you take the idea, you put it onto a platform that they exist, they're all around the place. You put it onto a platform and you put a bit of energy behind it, all of a sudden you are truly looking at income generating opportunities. And when you also start learning more about tax, I mean, it's unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable what the opportunities are.
Most definitely. It really is. There's great opportunities out there, guys. So just have a think about yourself, what you enjoy doing, where you think you can generate some income if that's something that you are looking to do. And yeah, just go for it.
Okay.
Give it a go.
Spot on. So this feels like a really nice place to leave it. I was waiting for you to say this.
Are you going to say that every week now?
No, I want you to say it, but I think I gave you the lead, but you didn't want to take it.
This is a wonderful place to leave it.
Okay, good. All right, guys, look, thanks very much for being with us this Sunday. Look, we hope everybody's taking care of themselves and their families. Wish everybody absolutely the very, very best.
Most definitely.
Yeah. And please stay tuned in. You'll be glad to know that we are all in the house. We are all fully recovered now.
Yeah.
We've got our energy back, so we're going to be dropping a lot more midweek whiteboard sessions as well, which is going to be really great. I've missed doing those. So yeah, guys, stay tuned. And if you like what you've listened to and what you've seen today, then please drop us a like, leave us a comment, and please share with a few of your friends and family who'd find benefit from this as well.
Most definitely. And you can also find us across the social media platforms. We're AvoidingBroke everywhere, so you can come and check us out there. And yeah, until we speak to you again, you guys have a great week and look after yourselves.
Awesome. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.